Well, it's been 2 years since the horrific violence, in fact, rocked Manipur. Over 260 people have been killed, 1,500 injured, and over 70,000 people displaced after the ethnic violence broke out between Meitei and Kuki-Zo on May 3rd, 2023. Despite the removal of Chief Minister N. Singh and the imposition of President's rule in February this year, peace remains a far cry. While hill-based Kukis call for a separate administration, the Meiteis, who are the majority in Imphal Valley, seek implementation of National Register of Citizens and the deportation of those they consider illegal immigrants. There have been events such as Separation Day and People's Convention that show the ethnic divide among the people. The Separation Day programs lined by the Kuki-Zo communities reflect their demand for a separate administration, state or union territory. These programs are set to be held not just in different parts of the state but also in other major cities. Meitei organization Kokomi, which has alleged inaction by the centre in addressing the situation in the state, has called for public meetings in Imphal to voice their collective concerns to the union government. The key breakthrough that many in the state are waiting for is the political dialogue between the leaders of the two communities. A step towards that took place last month when civil society leaders representing both sides met in Delhi. The meeting, led by Ministry of Home Affairs advisor at Northeast Affairs, A.K. Mishra, ended without resolution. The talks are yet to move on any of the core issues surrounding the conflict.
Others may have been distracted with other ongoing issues. There is a certain commitment that you have showcased, and that makes me very happy because, like you said, this has not been a regular conflict in terms of that it hasn't come to a complete standstill. There isn't an operation that has finished, and we haven't come to the results that usually you do get at the end of operations being undertaken. Now, we have to look at this in a couple of ways, Karthikeyan, and please allow me a minute or two because this is very important. We have to understand what this conflict has done to be able to see, what the responses have been and what is lacking and, what has been the impact. The conflict has become protracted, and I think that has given some amount of impetus for resurgence to inter as well as intra-tribal rivalry. Now, that has obviously deepened the fault lines. Like you said yourself, that nobody is coming to the drawing board. Both parties don't see eye to eye. Of course they won't, because these tensions have been kept alive, even though much less than the peak of the conflict. There have been tensions over land disputes. The tensions have now broadened amongst the Nagas and the Kukis, the Petizomis and the Mars and the Kuki clashes in Churchandpur. So it has spun into something larger. Now, there's also, obviously, because of the situation in the state, there is a heavy sort of competition for resources. There's heavy competition to control areas, and that has led to a more complicated situation. However, let me say this, Karthike, and this will be my opening remark after being the voice of doom and gloom. The fact is that the state is limping back to normalcy. There has been no massive amount of violence that has been recorded, and the conflict has tapered down, so as to say. Of course, the tensions will remain. This is an emotional sort of situation that we are seeing. There is a lack of trust, there's a trust deficit, but our security forces have made significant progress.
Also, despite that, we all, even the people there itself, a fatigue has set in, like fatigue when it comes to the law and order situation, when it comes to demand of a separate administration. So, but now, as we were discussing, to me, what I see now, the challenge is, how to bring back, when you talk about normalcy, how to bring back Manipur back to 1st May 2023, or let's say beginning of that, because 3rd May was something where you see a very massive violent, and within few hours and within 2-3 days you see number of deaths, number of property being destroyed. So But the larger question, which is disturbing my conscience as a individual and also as a Meiteis or me from that region, is like how our ethics, the morality of politics in allowing this to continue. There are, if we look at what in the beginning, when we talk about media reporting, because see, this conflict, I would say, is different from the earlier conflict. There are occasional hiccups when it comes to ethnic violence and ethnic conflict in the region. But this conflict is different in the sense that it is also a time when we are living in an age of fast information technology, and where we have social media, we have internet-based news channels. So the larger question which comes, like as these days I'm writing on ethics in media and in conflict reporting, so it makes me go deeper into why is this escalating till this time.
Humanitarian aid for the last 2 years has been one of the biggest challenge that the community who have been internally displaced are still struggling. That is a basic human rights. So in any violence that takes place anywhere in the world, humanitarian aid to the people who are internally displaced hit the most. That has not been addressed systematically by the state nor the central. It's something that we need to ponder around. The second is a lot of women and girls are still in the various camps because the houses that has got burned or the houses that has been demolished because of the situation for all the communities in the state of Manipur are still struggling to be in these camps where a lot of economic upliftment is a challenge to be reached to each one of them.
Okay.
And many of them have lost, that livelihood.
At least 7 people were killed and 70 injured in a stampede during a temple festival in North Goa. Of the 70 injured, 8 are said to be in critical condition, while 2 were referred to the Goa Medical College and Hospital in Bambolim. The unfortunate incident happened at the Larai Devi Temple in Shirgaon village in the early hours of Saturday. Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant has announced inquiry into Sri Larai Devi Temple stampede. The stampede broke out as thousands of devotees thronged the narrow lanes of the temple for the annual festival. Now, according to officials, at least 30,000 to 40,000 people had gathered for the festival and some were standing at the slope. A few persons fell on the slope, causing others to fall on each other. Thousands of devotees from Goa, Maharashtra and Karnataka attend the annual festival at the temple. Chief Minister Pramod Sawant visited the injured in the North Goa District Hospital. Sawant, in a post on X, said he had received a call from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He offered his full support.
गोवा में शिरगांव ले रही यात्रा की रात को यानी आज सुबह 4 से 5 बजे तक जो स्टैम्पेड हुआ, उस स्टैम्पेड में 6 लोगों की डेथ हो गई। अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 50 लोगों से ज़्यादा लोग इंजर्ड हो गए। मुझे 5 बजे खबर मिलते ही मैं खुद होके वहाँ से निकला। हमारे पूरे पुलिस साइट पे थे, पुलिस पूरे कंट्रोल ले चुके थे एक्चुअली। जिन लोगों को शिफ्ट किया तो शिफ्ट हॉस्पिटल में लाने से पहले ही 6 लोगों की डेथ हो चुकी थी। बाकी सभी लोगों के मैंने कम्युनिटी हेल्थ सेंटर में खुद होके मैं पहले गया, वहाँ पे 2 लोग की डेड बॉडी थी। बाकी लोग की ट्रीटमेंट अच्छी तरह से कम्युनिटी हेल्थ सेंटर जो इंसिडेंट्स के प्लेस से 6-7 किलोमीटर पे हॉस्पिटल है, वहाँ पे ट्रीटमेंट दे रहे थे। कुछ लोगों को रिफर हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल में किया था। वह डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल में भी मैं खुद होके गया, वहाँ पे 4 लोगों की डेड बॉडीज थी और बाकी 10 लोग एडमिट थे। उनकी ट्रीटमेंट अच्छी तरह से कर रहे हैं। वहाँ से डायरेक्टली हमारे गोवा मेडिकल कॉलेज भी अपेक्स हॉस्पिटल वहाँ पे है, वहाँ पे बाकी लोगों की ट्रीटमेंट चल रही है। 10 लोग वहाँ पे एडमिट हैं, 4 लोगों को इंक्यूबेट कर चुका है, 1 उसमें से सीरियस है। इस पूरे इंसिडेंट्स में जो हर साल वहाँ पे जत्रा होती है, 50,000 से ज़्यादा क्राउड हर साल वहाँ पे अग्नि दिव्य कुंड से जाने के लिए वहाँ पे लोग आते हैं।
Most unfortunate incidents it has occurred.
Goddess Lerai's Jatra, which is supposed to be one of the most auspicious. People look forward to this Jatra every year. And this incident, which has happened of Stampede, is really very sad. The whole emergency services are always active, but they've been pressed into total action. My whole team, along with the Secretary Health, Arun Mishra, Dean Goa Medical College, Advisor to Health, Fazila Raujo, my medical superintendents, Dr. Rajesh Patil, Varsha Monch, Uday Kakurkar, and the whole team has been active whole night. Heads of department in Goa Medical College, and our team has been on the field the whole night from the time we heard of the incident. Sushma Saini, 108 head, has also been active. We are trying our best to see that we are able to reduce the casualties. 80 people have been injured and brought to the hospitals. And in addition, the whole focus of the health department is to save the lives of the critically injured that are amounting to about 10. And more than 6 to 7 people have lost their lives. My condolences deeply go to the family. Whatever we can do as the Ministry for Health and the state government, we will do. Our job is to see that we are able to save lives, and we want to save the lives. With the blessings of Goddess Lerai, I'm sure we'll be able to save the lives of the injured. I pray to her for her blessings to give us the strength to save the lives of the people and even the injured. And we are able to, critical lives, we are able to save them and, hand the patients over in good health to the families. I'm really saddened by this incident. This should not have happened. This has happened. This is really unfortunate. My sentiments are with all the families who have lost their lives and also the injured. We are doing our best. I want to reassure them that the department and the health services is doing their best and the government is doing their best to save their lives.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted and said that he was saddened by the loss of lives due to the stampede in Shirgaon. Leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi also gave their condolences to the victims of the stampede.
ये एक दुखद इंसिडेंट हुआ है कल ये नॉर्थ गोवा में जो श्रीगांव है इसकी बहुत ही ऐसी यात्रा है जिसमें लाखों श्रद्धालु हर साल आते हैं और कल भी बहुत बड़ी तादाद में गोवा और महाराष्ट्र और आसपास के इलाके से यहाँ पे श्रद्धालु आए हुए थे और पुलिस और बाकी प्रशासन ने काफ़ी अच्छी व्यवस्था की हुई थी। कल दिन में मीडिया के साथ हम लोगों ने पुलिस प्रबंध जो था और लोगों की हम कैसे मदद कर रहे हैं उसके कुछ फुटेज वगैरह भी जारी किए थे। ड्रोन की भी व्यवस्था थी और रात के समय लगभग 2:45-3 बजे के आसपास वहाँ पे ये आपके पीछे जो एरिया है यहाँ पे कुछ र्यूमर की वजह से या कई 1-2 तरह की बातें सामने आ रही हैं जिसकी अभी जांच चल रही है। तो सडनली लोगों में भगदड़ हुई और करीब 150 से 200 लोग जो थे वो उस भगदड़ के अंदर नीचे गिर गए और पुलिस ने और बाकी वॉलंटियर्स ने सबने मिलकर इमीडिएटली ये रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन किया जिसकी वजह से उनको इमीडिएटली शिफ्ट किया गया हॉस्पिटल में। और सबसे जो रिस्पांस अच्छा ये रहा कि इस पूरे इंसिडेंट को बहुत छोटे से एरिया में कन्फाइन किया गया। आपको मालूम है कि इसमें लगभग 2 से 3 किलोमीटर तक जो है उस इलाके में श्रद्धालु और भक्तजन जो है वो फैले हुए थे उस टाइम पे और अगर ये इंसिडेंट बाकी एरियाज में फैल जाता तो ये बड़ी घटना हो सकती थी। लेकिन इमीडिएटली उनको रेस्क्यू करके हॉस्पिटल पहुंचाया गया, मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट दिया गया।
Yatra happens every year. There are thousands of people that come to it. It's very well organized. That's what I'm saying. Somehow, what has probably gone wrong is the people management at this point of time at this particular yatra. And while rumors can spread in a crowd and a crowd can go completely berserk and lead to such kind of tragedies, but we don't know that at this point of time. There are many people saying many things, and therefore it's only prudent that we wait for the investigations to conclude and then realize what truly happened, whether there was genuinely a sabotage, whether there was a concern or a rumor that was spread, or whether there was genuinely a concern that could have led the crowd to be, not expect what was going to happen, and therefore the crowd behaved in the manner in which they did, like most crowds do when there is a fear psychosis in a particular situation. So I think it's too premature to say what led to it, but what is the truth is that if we preempted such kind of tragedies in festivals, and festivals happening all over Goa, the festivals happening all over the country, and we've seen incidents that have happened. There have to be proper mechanisms in place and proper police management systems in place to be able to deal with crowds, because what leads into a tragedy in a crowded place is an inability to control the crowd. Nobody goes to a festival to intend to be a victim or to be a part of a mob that leads to somebody being killed. Unfortunately, it happens because there's no proper management of that crowd at that point of time, and that I think is where we should learn from such strategies and learn to preempt and set up systems that deal with these kind of tragedies. That's the real core lessons that we must take, and those responsible post the investigation. If there was genuinely a sabotage and a rumor that led to it, then the people responsible for it must be punished, because at the end of the day, you've seen 6 people, unfortunately lost their lives and 50 people injured. That need not have been the situation, but it is. So therefore, we need to be preemptive in such issues.
A big development that is coming in. According to a report, a special joint search operation is being carried out by the Sri Lankan Police, the Sri Lankan Air Force and airport security units in the Bandaranaike International Airport. The special search operation follows a tip-off from the Indian authorities. Indian intelligence flagged a potential suspect linked to the recent Pahalgam terror attack may have arrived on a flight from Chennai. The suspect is believed to have arrived via the Sri Lankan Airlines flight. This is the big story that we are tracking at the moment. According to a report, a special joint search operation is being carried out by Sri Lankan Police, the Sri Lankan Air Force and the airport security units at the Bandaranaike International Airport. The special search operation follows a tip-off from the Indian authorities. Indian intelligence flagged a potential suspect linked to the recent Pahalgam terror attack may have arrived on a flight from Chennai. The suspect is believed to have arrived via the Sri Lankan Airlines flight. Now, in connection with the murder of Hindu activist Suhas Shetty, 2 individuals from Kalasa and Chikmagaluru district have been arrested. The 2 are believed to have been associated with the notorious Safan gang operating in Mangaluru. Reports indicated that 2 arrested youths have actively involved in the murder had links with the Safan gang. Now, notably, the 2 are said to be Hindu youths who had joined forces with the gang. This brings the total number of accused taken into custody to 8, including these 2 individuals. Sources reveal that along with 5 key suspects, the police have detained 2 Hindu youths for further questioning. Preliminary findings suggest that these individuals may have directly participated in the crime. The arrests were made based on video evidence gathered by the Mangaluru police. Some of the suspects were reportedly hiding in parts of Dakshina Kannada district. The police have intensified their interrogation of all those in custody as the investigation continues.
The murder case, our police has been able to nab the culprits within a day, and 8 people have been arrested, those who are directly involved in the murder of Suhas Shetty. So the full story of why it was done, because it was a pre-planned killing. So all that will come out in details. 8 people have been arrested, and that has already been mentioned by our commissioner. The names of the people have been mentioned, and from where they have come also, we've mentioned all those details. So everything else will come out. So it is very unfortunate that this incident took place, but I think a lot needs to be done even in the future to prevent this kind of communal and this kind of violence that is taking place. Yes, anti-communal force is being established here because this communal politics is being misused by many people. This using religion, anti-social elements. This is being. Who are the people involved in this? Rowdy sheeters and anti-social elements and members of political parties, members of organizations. They are all using this for their personal, private and political gain. And they are not bothered about the reputation of the district. They are not bothered about how people are going to be suffering. So this has to be tackled with the iron hand and with the proper focus. That's why an anti-communal force will be established in Mangalore to look into this specifically.
We have arrested 8 people in this Suhas Shetty's case, and all those 8 people have been interrogated. Once the investigation is complete, we will know what actually the motive behind, if there is anybody who is behind this. All those details will be known only after the investigation. Came and gave a representation saying that we want peace and harmony in this district. Try and establish that peace and harmony. That's what their demand.
Now, at least 4 people have died while more than 200 were evacuated after a fire broke out inside the casualty ward of the Kozhikode Medical College Hospital at around 8 p.m. on Friday. However, it is still not clear whether the deaths occurred because of asphyxiation resulting from the smoke or whether they were natural death. As of now, the postmortem reports are awaited. Firefighters managed to contain the blaze before it could spread. Hospital staff and emergency responders worked together to safely move patients and essential medical equipment out of the affected areas. Meanwhile, Health Minister Veena George has instructed the Director of Medical Education to conduct an inquiry into the incident. She is expected to visit the hospital today.
It's around 7:30 to 8, and the emergency measures had taken. This all the doctors from different departments, they were all called, and emergency services are given, and most of the patients shifted to our own hospital itself with the ambulance, and some of them to the skywalk, and only the issues are in the ground floor itself. That is primarily it is thought to be due to the short circuit as per electrical engineer. The detailed evaluation is going on today with the electrical inspectorate inspection and other concerned officials. And 4 people, that is, they are very severely affected. They are already on treatment and succumb to illness, and it is part of the disease. We are thinking like that. And again, in order to clear what is actually happened, we are kept the one case already is a medical legal case. So naturally, that should undergo the autopsy, and other 3 cases are also. They are severely affected by the disease. That is only they were here roughly around 3 hours only. One with malignancy with neutropenia, and another in sepsis, and another is pneumonia with sepsis. And these patients, we are doing the autopsy to find out the real cause. Any other thing. They are all seriously ill during admission also.